Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining my channel today. So I'm going to be discussing animal breeding practices. I know a lot of people are interested in animal breeding, but you really need to know these things first before you start any animal breeding program. Where do you start? Number one, breed. You really need to think about the breed that you want to venture into. Some people are interested in poultry. You see these days, especially in Zimbabwe, there are a lot of people who are interested in roadrunner production, and they come with many names. Black Australorp, there is the Brahmas, there is the Ayam Seman, many breeds, good breeds that are out there that you can start with. So you are supposed to think about the breed first, because each breed has got its advantages and disadvantages. But yourself, you really want to become a breeder. Let's put that in brackets. You really want to become a breeder. So how does a breeder behave? Do you just behave like anyone who just go out there and buy and start? No. A breeder really puts best practices, best animal breeding practices into place. So the first thing is to think about the breed that we are done. So we'll put a tick there. Then the second thing is a production system. So you're supposed to think about the production system. How are you going to raise your breed? Are you going to be doing the intensive type of production where you are preparing facilities and structures? Or you're going to just let them roam around and look for their own food? So a breeder would really think about these things first. The type of breed, or they would actually consult on the best breed that is productive, that is making a profit out there. Then they also have to think about how they are going to raise the breed. So with roadrunners, if you can allow them, give them a good environment, maybe fenced, protected from predators, and there's maybe some form of supply, food supply, which is rich in proteins, maybe rich in carbohydrates, they can do well. Or you can confine them into smaller spaces where you are constantly giving them food, water, and everything. So you've controlled everything there. So they don't have to be moving around and looking for food. So that is the part for the production system, where you are thinking about how to raise them. So this part, very important. Certain breeders, they don't put a lot of thought when it comes to the production system. How do you really want to keep or raise the chicks? Remember, many things also comes in. We have mentioned the nutrition. So you can think about the nutrition here. You can think about the health, disease control. Very important there. You can also think about management in general. Animals, they really need good care. If you're not going to provide good care to your animals, many things will befall your poultry or your roadrunners. So you're supposed to be thinking about the feed, you're supposed to be thinking about the health, you're supposed to be thinking about the management, what we call general care or care of the animal. And you're supposed to always remember that when you provide good care, they would also pay you back. All right. So let's go to step number 3. So the first one was to think about the breed. So the second one was to think about the production system. How are you going to be keeping those animals? And also the subtopics under production system. Then number 3 is to think about goals or breeding goals. Because you are a breeder yourself, you are not just a producer. You are an animal breeder. What exactly do you want to see happening in your animals? That is what we call a goal or breeding goal. So let me write it down as a breeding goal there. Breeding goal. What's the goal exactly? So maybe, let's just say you have thought about raising Black Australorp. Then obviously you have looked at everything, but now there is a certain goal that you'd want to go for. There are many goals. In science, they usually use the word trait. What trait do you want to look at? Are you going to look at growth as a goal? Growth, yes. Some people, they want to see growth, good growth, to come up with a breed which has got good growth. Some people, they would want to look at growth as one of the factors. Some people would want to look at meat quality. Yes, they would want to look at meat quality, and some people would want to look at eggs themselves. All right? Okay? To say they would want to have a breed, a black Australorp breed, which gives more eggs than the average that we are getting on the market. Those are the three traits that some breeders might choose to include as they start to work on a breed. Remember, any breed out there can be improved in the direction that you want as an animal breeder. And when you do these things, make sure you are putting all the records down. For example, if I get to your place, maybe I want to buy, I would want to get enough information about the breed, it's written down, the production system, and also maybe the traits that you are developing. Because myself, I might be looking for black Australorp that is good at growth. So I would really want to check and see if you are actually focusing on that trait for growth. Now, when these things have been clearly defined, now we really need to now look for the parents. Remember, animal breeding is about the next generation. So we really need to go out there and buy the breed, and we have put into place a production system, and these are the goals that we really want to work on, that we really want to see to improve in our poultry or in our black Australorp beds. So I would go for the third part, which is very much important, which is now the beds themselves. Where do I buy them and how do I buy them? Thank you for joining me again in the section where we are going to now advise each other on how do we buy the parents. As I said previously, how do I buy the ancestors? Because animal breeding, as I said, is about the next generation. They are those traits that you would want to see in the next generation. So now, how do I go about it? I really need to buy the parents. So if I can write the parents here, remember these parents are supposed to be having certain characteristics. They are supposed to be having records. So I have to go to a breeder or a farmer who has been keeping records. Remember my traits. My traits were, if I can put them here, were growth. I really am looking at growth. I'm looking at maybe meat quality. I'm looking at even egg production. These are the things that I will be looking at. So if I get to a farmer and I want to buy, it's important for the farmer to really quickly produce these records about the growth or growth rates, about the meat quality, and also about the egg production records. Because myself, I would want the parents, isn't it? Very important. These ones are very important. So the parents that are going to perform in the direction that I'm looking for. So the farmer should assist, should produce this record so I can buy the beds or the poultry that has got records. So I was using the example for black Australorp. So now the farmer has shown me the growth rates, the meat quality, as well as the eggs, isn't it? The egg records are there. Then I can buy. There are things that I might expect. One of the things that I might expect is maybe a higher price. Why would I expect a higher price if I'm buying breeding stock? Because these parents, in other words, we call them breeding stock. Because obviously the farmer did took their time to check the growth rates, to check the meat quality, as well as to check the eggs, isn't it? So this is a lot of work that goes into it and keeping all the records. So there are two aspects that actually the farmer is looking at. That is the genetic part. The farmer is trying to sell to me something that is genetically improved, because the farmer has been doing a lot of records, keeping records in terms of the genetics of even the ancestors of the parents that I want to buy. So a lot of work, lineage, genetics has been checked by the farmer. So that the farmer is selling breeding stock to me. So these parents, we call them breeding stock. That's what the farmer is selling to me. So as I said, I would not be shocked or surprised if the farmer is going to be giving higher prices, because these ones, they've got records. So this is the part where the farmer is not supposed to produce false records, maybe to cheat. This is a very important area to me as a person who's trying to start animal breeding projects. So I would not buy if the farmer does not have the records, and I really need the records. So when the records are there, this is a starting point. This is very important to me. It allows me to choose. But now, let me even try to assist on how the farmer can come up with the best parents that I would buy myself. If I was to advise the farmer would have to have started keeping records even a long time ago. So how does a farmer go about it to come up with a good record and good stock, breeding stock that I would buy? The farmer was supposed to, let's say, these are the two bears that I'm supposed to buy myself, B, X and B. So back here, there are supposed to be records of the parents of these parents that I want to buy myself. So I would expect the farmer to have been doing a lot of record keeping before, and also doing a lot of selection. So this is the part that I would also discuss in the next part in a thorough way. So these records for the grandparents, I might want to see them, the grandparents of this stock, maybe the dam, the dam here, and the sire there. The dam meaning the female, and the sire meaning the male. So these are the two that I'm buying. But already behind here, they have got records for their parents, which are going to be the grandparents if I buy this as the parents, isn't it? So siblings are actually the brothers and sisters of the parents that I am buying. So besides the siblings, then there is more information that a farmer should have considered when they were coming up with their breeds, the parents that they want to sell to me. The farmer has considered the grandparents, the farmer has considered the siblings, and what else should the farmer have considered? The farmer should have considered the progeny. All right. So these are very much important piece of information that the farmer should have considered. So with all these ones, how they were performing or how they are performing right now is very important to me. So I would want to know how the siblings of the dam or the sire are performing or performed. How even the progeny is performing. But now, this is mostly important to the farmer because it will help now the farmer to select. So if the farmer is going to select the birds or the poultry that he is or she is going to sell to me, the farmer should have considered all this. So it's important for anyone who's considering animal breeding. Remember, our topic is on the best animal breeding practices, to have all these pieces of information. They might not show me the progeny, they might not show the siblings or even the grandparents, but to actually show me as a buyer that they have considered all this, the siblings, the progeny, the grandparents, when they were selecting these birds as the breeding stock that I want to buy. This will make me happy because it will show that the farmer really knows, or the breeder really knows, what information to consider when they are doing selection. So it is actually even important to me as the breeder who's also starting to immediately start records on the sire and the dam, so that in future when I am now selling to any prospective buyer, I already have the records on the sire, records on the dam, and it will help the prospective buyer or the breeder in future to actually buy something that has got records, something that has been thoroughly researched, and they can actually be productive. Remember, it's the heritability of these traits, right? Growth traits, meat quality, egg size, or even egg color. These are heritable traits. So if the parents are actually having these good traits already, the siblings, even the progeny, are having the good traits, it's a pointer to say even the sire and the dam that I'm buying are also going to be having those good qualities as well. That's why it's important for farmers, breeders to be constantly recording and having good records. Alright, so this was the part that I really wanted to look at. So I'm sure people are now sure of what to do when they're going out there to buy breeding stock, and also expecting some higher prices, because there's a lot that comes into it to prepare breeding stock. And it's not just buying anything. It's something that has been genetically tested, and also done a lot of selection, because when you're doing all these things, you're selecting, so which also takes time, and it also takes money. So you'd expect to buy something that is thoroughly investigated, thoroughly developed and researched, so that you yourself can actually start breeding projects.